What's good, YouTube? It's Miami Football Fanatic here, and with our Monday night game against Carolina, I got some stats of how the Dolphins and Carolina have been performing this year. Just give a tiny bit of insight to how the game might play out, and just showing how tendencies might play a part in how the game goes on Monday night. Alrighty guys, so let's get to it. So the Panthers have the fourth best ranked scoring defense in the league. They allow the fewest first downs in the whole league, which is absolutely incredible. Just shows how cerebral their defense is. They allow the second fewest rushing yards, so great rushing defense, and a sixth in passing yards allowed. So absolutely solid across the board. Second best rushing defense, and it's sixth best passing. So it's going to be pretty hard to score on them. We're going to have to really be on our P's and Q's this game and just execute exactly like we did last week. Jay Cutler just played absolutely incredible last week. It was awesome to see his best game as a Dolphin. And the Dolphins, we go into Charlotte with the NFL's 32 ranked offense, which was different last week because we did perform much better than the worst offense in the league. But as a season as a whole, that's currently where we are. The 32nd worst offense in the league. Carolina's offense hasn't been that spectacular this year either, even after adding Christian McCaffrey and the wideout / running back Samuel from Ohio State. They ranked 24th in points per game. While our defense has been really solid on many parts of the defense, including 16th in points allowed per game, so middle of the pack so far against allowing points. Even with Carolina's great statistics across the board with their defense being ranked one of the best, there are a couple of reasons to be optimistic about this coming game Monday night. Jay Cutler, while under pressure, has completed 16.9 yards per completion since the start of the season. That's the second best mark of 36 qualifying quarterbacks in the NFL. The league average is 12.7 yards per completion when under pressure, so he's doing an absolutely great job finding guys when under pressure. I've seen that many times this year. He steps up in the pocket, he eludes the pressure well, and he does a good job finding guys on third down. So that's something to take into consideration when thinking about how this Carolina defense is going to compete against us. Jay Cutler also, he's been very good in the red zone this year. That's when we get there, of course. He's thrown 9 touchdowns on 23 pass attempts. So that's he throws 1 touchdown per every 2.5 pass snaps in the red zone this season. That's third best of 36 qualified quarterbacks in the league. So the league average is 4.2 pass attempts, so doing an absolute tremendous job. That's good for the Dolphins. So Cam Newton's numbers. Cam Newton has completed 53.6% of his passes at home since the start of last season, so hasn't been completing. He's not even at 60%. So he hasn't been completing many of his passes. So that's definitely something that we can capitalize on. That's the worst of 28 qualifying quarterbacks. The league quarterback completion rate at home over that time was 63.8. So Cam Newton really isn't performing well at home. Newton, he has a passer rating of 65.4 on third down since the start of last season, and that is the third worst in the NFL. The league average is 84.7. So Cam Newton, really, even though he's a dynamic player, he's a great runner, and he's got a cannon for an arm, he really isn't a good X and nose quarterback. He really doesn't do well reading past his second read, and especially with TJ McDonald coming back, hopefully the secondary can really capitalize on this and keep the wide receivers in check, especially after they've lost especially after losing Kelvin Benjamin to Buffalo. Dolphins can really do a good job keeping Cam Newton in check. I think where he's the most dangerous is in read option plays, when he does little flickers to to Jonathan Stewart and McCaffrey. That's where he's most dangerous. When he's threatening to run, that's when Cam Newton's at his best. He really isn't a solid pocket quarterback like a Tom Brady or a Drew Brees. So as long as we keep him in check in the box, we got a chance in this game. Obviously, these stats make you think that the Dolphins have the best quarterback in this particular game, but that remains to be seen. Also, playing quarterback, just relies on the success of all of its players. The offensive line blocking, the receivers being where they should be. So, after all, it's a team sport. And Cam Newton, he's quite gifted and he's very talented. He's got very talented people around him, and Cutler struggled with those around him, especially when in certain pressure situations. So hopefully he can keep going forward like played very well against the Raiders last week. Jay Cutler has been sacked on 19.5% of pass attempts against the blitz since the start of the season. That's the absolute worst mark in the league. The league average is 7.9% of attempts. So obviously, what can we do to combat that, especially against a vaunted, absolutely dominating Carolina defense? You throw the ball quick and short. Cutler's averaged 8.4 yards per completion this season. That is the third worst average of 36 qualifying quarterbacks in the NFL. The league average is 11.3. So, like we did last week, those short little between 5 and 10 yard passes is our bread and butter this season. Newton has averaged 13.3 yards per completion out of the shotgun since the start of last season. So obviously, exactly like their great 2015 season, he works the best out of the shotgun. When they've got a triple read option going with him, Jonathan Stewart, or Christian McCaffrey. The Panthers really do love their two back sets, so expect to see a lot of that on Monday. So yeah, that's the best mark in the NFL. Cam Newton throwing out the shotgun. The league average is 11 yards per completion out of the shotgun, and Newton has been much better than Cutler under pressure. Under pressure, he's completed 58.6% of his passes, which still isn't at 60%, but it's still better than his overall completion percentage this season. It's the second best mark in the NFL. The league average is 42.4, which, like I said, whilst under pressure. So yeah, that's a big indication of Cam Newton. We've got to get really... as I said before, the Panthers absolutely love to run their shotgun formations. And so does Cam Newton, obviously, with his great running ability. So this definitely works out well for us. Shotgun sets aren't particularly, spread out sets with 4 or 5 receivers. Usually shotguns have a max 2 receivers on each play, because most of the action is coming out of the backfield or from tight ends. So definitely works well for us. We've been... our best defense comes from in the box. Our run defense and linebackers, especially with Ray Maualuga in there now. As you saw against Marshawn Lynch, you can really just lay the hammer down and stop everything coming out the backfield. So it's really excited about that. And Lawrence Timmons is a great tackler in the run game too. And and he does a tremendous job defending from 10 line, in the box, as Kiko Alonso does. So it's going to work out well for us. They're not really a great spread offense, someone like the Saints or the Cardinals or someone like that. So or the Patriots. So their offense isn't complicated. So we'll be able to stay on our base sets a lot of the game, and I expect Ray Maualuga to get at least 40 to 50 snaps this game, because the Panthers' recipe for success is to run the ball down your throat and then get the read option going with Cam Newton, and then get into play action, and that leads to them getting completions over the top. So as long as we stop everything they're doing in the box, and even though our defense hasn't been as good as it was the past couple of weeks, I really think that we can keep the game close and maybe pull out a win. But I'm really confident, especially with the way the Panthers love to run the shotgun. So that's exactly where we're the most strongest at, defending the box. So looking forward to that. Alrighty guys, I'll see you in the next video. Miami Football Fanatics signing out.